Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for joining us today. We got some of this, like Sean said, maybe a review for some of you, but we are going to show some brand new products towards the end, so stay tuned. I'll talk to you a little bit about our Nuvo player portfolio product. And from a system component standpoint, there's not a whole lot of different pieces and parts to put together a system. And the Nuvo product can go up to 16 zones. It's a combination of both wired and wireless product. Every zone has a streamer in it, so you can listen to Pandora, Spotify, Sirius XM, Amazon Music. You can stream wirelessly from your phone or your device. So you have full control using an Apple or an Android device. And then we also allow you to have control of some other things that we'll talk about, as far as an in-wall keypad and then an in-wall touchscreen. That's also available from Nuvo. So we have rack-mounted players that do 3 zones. So each zone has amplification in it. Each zone has its own streamer built into it, also line in and line outs. And then we have single zone players, and then we also have a soundbar subwoofer, and then a standalone desktop unit. And we'll talk about each one of those kind of individually here. Kind of the core of this business, and kind of the what really sets us apart from some of our competitors that are in this space, is our rack-mounted players. So much of what you guys do as dealers is install stuff inside a rack, and we want to make sure that we give you the ability to do that. This is really a professional version of some of the other brands that are out there. This was designed with our dealers in mind, with our custom integrators in mind, and the fact that this should go into a rack. So what you're seeing here is our P4300. It's 110 watts per zone. It's 4 ohm stable, so you can hook up 2 pairs of speakers to each zone if you'd like. It's got a line input, and the line input can either be an analog input or a digital input. We provide a Toslink adapter for each of those 3 zones. Like I said earlier, it's got amplification in each zone and then the streamer in each zone. So if you're selling a 3-zone system, you pop one of these in the rack and you're good to go. If you want to sell a 6-zone system, you buy 2 of these and you stack them on top of each other. So it makes it very simple to expand with adding more of these units. The 3100, its little brother down there at the bottom, same thing as the top. It's got amplification for each zone and a streamer in each zone, but a little bit less power. So it's 40 watts per zone, and it only has an analog input. To give you kind of an idea, the P4300 MSRP is $2,300, and the MSRP on the 3100 is $1,800, and these things are about 40 points of dealer margin. So some great ways to earn some additional income that you're not getting from other streaming services. This is just a quick peek at the single zone players. The P100 is very similar to the 3100. It's basically, the 3100 basically has 3 of these shoved into a 1U chassis. So it's got the streamer built into it and then 40 watts of power. The P200, again, it's got a streamer built into it and it's 120 watts of power. And then the P300 is just a preamplifier. So no power in that. Be a great add-on to a surround sound receiver, so you can include those speakers with your Nuvo system as well. Retail pricing, or MSRP, top to bottom, the P100 is $479, the P200 is $599, and the P300 is $349. And when you compare that against some of our other competitors, you know, most versions of the P300, our competitor, is at $449. And then even the P200, our competitor, is at $649. So we offer a great value for the sound and for the dollar that you get out of this product. Going on to the kind of amplifier and speaker included in one, great value with our P500 soundbar and subwoofer. It comes packaged in one box. It's a 2.1 system, so you get much better sound coming out of this than you would out of your TV. And it includes the subwoofer, and it's a wireless sub, so you don't need to wire it to anything other than plug it into the wall. That piece, the soundbar subwoofer P500 retails for $899. So again, a great value. Comes with a little remote, but will also learn right into just about any cable box or TV remote. So it's very simple to use and set up. One of the other things we also provide with this is we provide the wall mount for this. So if the TV is being wall mounted, there's not an extra piece you need to go out and buy to mount the speaker that goes underneath. We include that with the price at $899. In our tabletop speaker, this has been out for about 2 years now. As far as the other brands go that have a tabletop unit like this, our piece I would put up against anyone as far as sound goes. It's $599. It's a 2.1. It does have a true subwoofer. You get fantastic bass response out of this. So you get a 5 1/4 inch subwoofer, 2 3-inch mid-range, and 2 tweeters. Just a great piece. And then one of the other things that this has on it too is you can actually use this piece without using the app at all. You can just walk right up to it. It has 5 presets for your favorites. Select your favorite, whether it's a Pandora channel or a Sirius XM station, and just go right to that and start playing. And volume controls and mute right on this piece. And these pieces can be wired or wireless. So as long as you've got great Wi-Fi, like I don't know, say Luxel at your house, you can connect wirelessly to any of these products. Here's just kind of a schematic of a system showing you that it can be both wired and wireless. The rack-mounted pieces do require to be hardwired to your network, but any of the single-zone players, the soundbar sub, or the P400 can be wireless. So we talked about control a little bit. Obviously, you can control this using an app. The app is free through Apple or through iOS or your Google Play Store. Works on a tablet or a smartphone, and gives you great control. You can see you get a lot more real estate when you're using a tablet. There's no need to do any screen changing or anything like that. Everything is right on there. And when you look at, if you look at the tablet at the top, you can see the zones down at the bottom. So we got patio, master, office. One great thing about Nuvo is the simplicity of creating a group. So you see the very top where I have the office listening to Lynch Mob. It looks like we got a real headbanger going on here. I can take that patio icon with my finger and simply drag it up there, and I just created a group. So it's very simple to create groups, and then once I turn the volume up on that, it'll show the different zones, and I can turn them up either together or independently. So very user-friendly. And so we like to say that our when it's a standalone system, there's 3 different ways you can control our system. You can use the app, tap, or talk. So the tap is what we'll talk about now. So that is the keypad. And a lot of folks say, hey, why do I need a keypad? I can control everything from my phone or my tablet. I can tell you that in my office where I'm at right now, when my phone rings and I'm playing my Nuvo system fairly loudly, I have 2 options. I can either not answer my phone because the music's too loud, or I have to run out of the office to answer my phone. But since I have a P10 keypad that's right next to my desk, I just simply hit the mute button on it. So it's another point of control. The keypad connects PoE, so you just Cat5 that goes from your network PoE switch to this piece here, and it has 5 preset favorites, just similar to your car stereo. You select your 5 favorites and you pop it in there, and then you've got your volume, mute, skip, and play and pause. So retail price on that's $200, so a great add-on to a system. Gives your clients more control over their system, and then gives you an opportunity to earn more income by giving your clients an easy touch point. So great spot for the kitchen, an office, or like a master bath where you're not necessarily always going to have your phone with you. And then the P30, the in-wall touchscreen, also runs off of PoE. It is basically an Android tablet that does a great job of running the Nuvo app, and at a retail price of $349 is a very cost-effective way to get a tablet experience that remains in one spot. You know, we know the kids might run off with the iPad somewhere, and you want control of your system. This gives you a place where you know that it's always going to be. So it's wired to the wall with Cat5 PoE, and it connects to the wall via mount that comes with it. You can kind of see in the back there, it's the same size as a 3-gang outlet or a 3-gang switch outlet. And then we provide the metal plate that just screws in, and then we got some magnets on the back of that the tablet just connects to. So another great way to earn a little bit more income by giving your client a control device that stays installed at their home. And then here's just a view, a close-up view of what the keypad looks like, the P10 keypad. So in addition to being able to use Alexa, talking to it, and also being able to control with your phone or your tablet, we also work fantastic with third-party integration. So I know a lot of the dealers out there use third-party integration, Control 4, RTI, URC, brands like that. And our driver works fantastic with those brands. We've got an IP drivers. The C4 driver is SDDP certified, so it finds it right in the Composer software right away, and it's very simple to integrate in. And I know some of the other brands, there was a lot of functionality that was lost when integrating into the third-party solutions, and our Nuvo system has all that functionality built right back into it, so you can search and do other things that you may have lost when you were using another brand. And here's just an example of a screenshot of the Control 4 Elan and URC as far as what their apps look like. Very simple to use and very simple to integrate into those platforms. Some things you might not know. So Nuvo has a full line of speakers. We break them up into a kind of a good, better, best, our Series 2, Series 4, and Series 6. As you move up in series, you get a better construction of the woofer and a better construction of a tweeter. Our speakers are about 70 points dealer margin, so can't find them on the internet. They're a great value. They sound fantastic, and you can see we've got kind of a soup to nuts in ceiling, flat, in ceiling, angled, dual voice coil, in wall, and then our LCRs for doing theater applications. And to go along with those, we also have a full line of our speaker brackets. We color code ours, so if you're doing different speakers in different parts of the room, they're easily identified as to whether or not I'm doing a 6-inch angled or a 6-inch flat in ceiling speaker. Another piece you might not know that we have, we came out with this about 1.5 years ago, a fire-rated speaker enclosure. And this is not brand agnostic, so although we'd love you to use our speakers all the time in every application, if there's another speaker that you've specified to go into a project and it fits inside of this piece here, it's not, it can definitely do that. So if you're doing a commercial space that requires that you have a fire-rated back box, check out ours from Nuvo. It's a fantastic solution for that. From a residential standpoint, it creates a more uniform airspace, and it also reduces sound transfer. So if you're doing speakers on a main floor and there's a second floor above, this is a great idea to kind of help eliminate some of that noise transmission that's going to go from the first floor to the second floor. Subwoofers. If you've not heard or seen the Nuvo subwoofer, I would highly recommend you do that. These are fantastic sounding subwoofers, offer you great margin. Come in at 8, 10, and 12 inch. The 8 and 10, as you can see, are ported in the front, so they're easily, you can put them in a cabinet and they still sound great, perform great. The 12 inch is a sealed enclosure. Piece sounds fantastic. That's got it in my office. I listen to it every day. It's all three of them are very musical, so they sound great with music, and they also give you the low end rumble when you want to listen to a movie and hear things explode. So great subwoofers, and we also have a wireless subwoofer kit. Now the subwoofer kit works best with a Nuvo subwoofer, and I'll explain why here in a second, but it does work with any subwoofer that you sell. So sometimes it's hard to get a wire from where your receiver is to where the subwoofer needs to go, and it can be a very expensive cable. So in this case, we've got a wireless subwoofer kit that comes with the transmitter and the receiver. The transmitter gets connected to the subwoofer output of your receiver, and then the Nuvo subwoofer receiver sits on the back of the subwoofer, and works up to 50 feet away, and one transmitter, so the piece that gets plugged into the sub out of the surround sound receiver, can connect up to 4 subwoofer receivers. So it's a great way to add on some additional subwoofers if you're doing a theater for your clients without having to run wire anywhere. When I say it works best with Nuvo subwoofers, if you look down at the bottom, the wireless subwoofer receiver, what you're seeing there in the middle picture is the back. It's got a keyhole, and on the back of the Nuvo subwoofer, it's got 2 of the keyholes that that clips onto, and it clips on so tight you can actually pick the subwoofer up with this receiver. It will not rattle, it stays in place. And then the other cool piece about that is on the back of a Nuvo subwoofer, we put a USB power outlet, so you don't need to plug this subwoofer receiver into the wall. You simply, we give you the little USB jumper, it plugs right into the sub to provide power. So a real slick install. And for the month of April through the end of June, if you buy a Nuvo subwoofer, you will get a Nuvo subwoofer kit for free. So it's a great time to give these a shot, try them out, and let us impress you with the performance and the sound quality of a Nuvo subwoofer along with our Nuvo subwoofer kit. In addition to your standard traditional subwoofers that we just saw there in an 8, 10, and 12 inch, we just launched recently our in-ceiling and in-wall subwoofers. So we have an in-ceiling 8, and then we have an in-wall 8 inch, and then we have a dual in-wall 8 inch. So if you can hide the subwoofer, if the client says, I don't want to see a big black box sitting on the floor, you can recess these into the wall or the ceiling. And to go along with these, you need some power. And so we make 3 different versions of amplifiers to go along with those subs. The ceiling subwoofer, the little 8, you can use the 100-watt guy there. The in-wall ones, we do recommend you use one of the larger, either the 200-watt or the 500-watt, the big guy there. So, and both of the rack-mounted units can actually power up to 2 of those subwoofers. So if you've got, 2 of the single 8 inch or 2 of the dual 8s, the 200-watt or the 500-watt can power 2 of those subs. Some more speakers for you. So Nuvo does a great job with outdoor speakers. And one thing I didn't mention earlier on our speakers, all of our speakers have a lifetime warranty. So advanced replacement, no questions asked. Your customer blows up a Nuvo speaker, you call us and we replace it. So you've got confidence that you're dealing with a quality built speaker. And we also do that with our outdoor speakers. Not a lot of folks give a lifetime warranty on outdoor speakers. So we've got a full line of your standard stereo speakers that fit under the eave or attached to the wall. And then our landscape speakers, we released a couple years ago, buried 8-inch subwoofer and come with 4 satellites. Great value on this. Again, these are 70 to 80 points of margin. The landscape piece, you can add up to 4 more of those satellites. So you can have 1 8-inch sub and 8 8 satellites total, depending on what coverage you need. So let's talk about a couple things that are going to be coming new. And right now, we're looking at launching this product at ADI in July. I think we're still on pace to do that despite some of the things that are happening in the world right now. So we're going to talk about our 5000 series and DIN rail. So what's the 5000 series? You saw our P4300 and our P3100 3-zone pieces. Those were created at different times, and they're a little bit older. The P3100's been in the line for about 7 years, and the P4300 about 4 years. So we decided to give those a facelift and a refresher. And when we did that, we did a couple things. The first thing we did is we added our largest power supply we've ever had inside of these pieces. So these, we really beefed up the amplification in these guys. So it goes from 50 watts of power per zone up to 200 watts of power per zone, and that's in the 8 ohms. And if you're running a 4 ohm load, it doubles. So you can tell that the amplifier in there is a real deal amplifier. These guys have 50 points of margin. So we increased the power, we increased the margin, and then we did something that we've been asking for a long time. So some folks will say, hey, you know, the Nuvo stuff, it streams Pandora, it streams Amazon, it streams Sirius XM, but I want to listen to my Apple Music, or I want to listen to Mog, or I want to listen to something that's not built into my streaming. So what these pieces have built into them is Apple AirPlay 2. So whatever your client wants to listen to, they can do that through an Apple device with Apple AirPlay 2. And that will be included with these Professional Series 5000 pieces. This will be exclusive, so that the dealers, they will have to register to be able to buy this product. Not just everyone that walks into the ADI is going to be able to pick this up. We do need a registration process. We want to make sure that the dealers know how to install this and are aware of all the features and benefits that it has with it. So look for this coming in July to ADI. We're real excited to get this product launched and released to you guys. And then the last piece that I want to share with you that's new, again available in the July timeframe. We have got a lot of our folks do a lot of builder business, and the builders want everything stuffed inside of the enclosure. And OnQ, a Legrand brand, makes several different plastic enclosures. You can see our 30-inch version here. So we have a 30-inch, a 42-inch, and a 20-inch version. So you're seeing where you can put the networking inside there, and the Wi-Fi gets out. But what you're also seeing inside this enclosure is a 2-zone Nuvo system. DIN rail is a product that was made for Europe, and so we made a Nuvo system for Europe. And more and more of our dealers saw it and said, man, I would love to be able to sell that in my market. So we did a few modifications. We added Apple AirPlay 2 as well to this product. And so now this will be available in the US starting in July. And you can see a single zone is $275. We also have a kit that comes with the power supply and the rail that goes inside of the enclosure. And that power supply will power up to 3 of the zones. And just like with the other zones, it has an amplifier in it, and the streamer is also built into that. So the app and everything is the same. It's just a different form factor. But where we'll sell the majority of these is in prepackaged kits. So we'll have a 2-zone, a 3-zone, and a 4-zone kit. And it will come with everything you need. So what you're seeing right here is a 2-zone kit. It will come with the DIN rail piece that goes inside the enclosure. It will come with the power supply. It will come with 2 of the amplifier streamers. We even put a Luxel switch in there, so you're not having to source a switch from anywhere. And heck, we even put the patch cable jumpers inside there. So this really is a everything you need in one box solution to do 2 zones. And you can see suggested dealer price on that is $700. And then our 3-zone kit, again, everything you need, the switch is in there, the 3 streamer amplifier pieces, the power supply, and suggested dealer is $875. And then the 4-zone kit, again, everything you need. An additional power supply to run run more of the amplifier streamer pieces, and then all the pieces and parts you need to run that. So again, you can do up to 16 zones. You can have, let's say you chose this 4-zone kit to put in the client's home, and they say, hey, I'd really like to have an additional zone in the den. Well, you can add that P400 desktop piece to that. And if they'd like the soundbar sub in their master bedroom, you can do that as well. So all of these pieces will work together with each other. That's the end of my show. What questions did you have coming in there, Keith?
I don't know that we opened it up. Jared, are you there? Does anybody have any questions? I don't know if they can hear us.
Yeah. Franklin asks, let's see if I can open this up here. Will you be integrating, let's see, why can't I open this up? Will you be integrating with Brilliant?
At this point, I can say there's nothing on the immediate roadmap for that. If we see that there's more traction with Brilliant out in the marketplace, we would definitely partner with them. So, but as of right now, there's nothing on our roadmap that has Brilliant as part of the mix.
Okay, other question is, are the MSRP prices in US dollars? I would assume yes is the answer to that.
That is correct. Yes, they are US.
And then is there a PUP or a personal use program for dealers for Nuvo? That comes from Kevin.
Yeah, there is. We kind of use the same thing as what if it was a builder that would do a model home or something like that. So the electronics are 60% off MSRP, and the speakers are 75% off of MSRP. And you would just contact the Legrand territory sales manager in your market to be able to go through and do that.
Hey, other question is, what is the stack limit for the 5000 series? In other words, how many max zones can you do?
So our published is 16 zones total. So you could stack 5 of those on top of each other. I can tell you, since those are all wired, that we do have systems that are larger than 16, but you would have to, again, get with your local Legrand TSM rep to kind of walk you through that, and we would let you know if it's possible. We've got some systems that are up to 28 zones, but again, they're all wired and it's a specific application. So 16 is our published, so 5 of those stacked on top of each other.
And I think lastly here, how does the registration work? Does it include authorized dealer program?
So the registration part is still TBD. We'll get that hashed out between Keith and the folks at ADI. It'll be pretty easy and seamless, so it's not going to be a bunch of hoops to jump through. We just want to make sure that it's a product that not just everyone can walk through the door and get.
Okay, I think that about takes care of it.
Hey, Tom, this is Sean. I've got one question I know the answer to, but I think for the benefit of the dealers on the call and certainly those that are new to Nuvo, I'll go ahead and throw it out there. But where are Nuvo products not sold and why?
Yeah, so thanks, Sean. I should have built that into the slide deck here. So Nuvo products are not sold online, and they are not sold in retail, and we do not sell them directly to our customer. So all the product that you see here, we make specifically for dealers. It's only sold in the distribution channel to dealers. and it's so you can make the money. Look, there's another brand out there that you might sell a zone or two, and then that customer that you just put that product in will get directly marketed by the manufacturer. Our belief is that if you've sold that customer 3 zones of audio and they want a 4th, you should be the person to sell them the 4th and install it. So this product's made for dealers, and it builds in 40 to 50 points of margin in the electronics, and there's definitely a lot more margin that can be made with this product.
Great, thanks.
Yep.
So are we ready to jump to Will here?
I'm ready.
All right, let me switch over here.
Hey, Tom, you mentioned the Legrand TSM map. I don't know that you have an up-to-date one that we might share at the end for those on the call who might want to know who their TSM in their area is. But if not, we'll get it out.
Yeah, can we get that to Sean to broadcast to the group?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, I was waiting to get an update on the the new changes.
Yep, we should have the Texas guy and the Mid-Atlantic guy ready to go here by the end of next week. We'll have the new map updated.
Okay. Mr. Swari, you ready to go?
I think so. Sorry about the technical difficulty earlier, everyone. To avoid any further ones, I'm just going to have Jared do the presentation, and I'll speak to it. So again, thanks for taking some time out of your day to learn about Sanus and the rest of the Legrand products. I hope that through this, you'll pick up some new information, and let's start trucking on through. So let's go to the next slide. Here's the agenda, just a quick overview, some market research, product updates, talking a little bit about strategy, and then a little bit more about Sanus is more than just mounts, and then hopefully I'll have time at the end to answer some questions for y'all. So let's move on to the next slide. Here you can see that pretty much in every size range of TVs over the last 6 years, weight has gone down, down, and down. The only real exception to this is the over 70-inch in the lower right, and that was in 2016 when Sony introduced some of their biggest TVs out there, and they brought the average up. But the overall trend in TVs is that they're getting lighter. Let's hop to the next slide. Other trends is, we talked a little bit about the lightness. 40 pounds is the average TV nowadays. They are getting larger. Everything from 42 and up seems to be where the category is moving. Visa patterns have been moving all around on the back of TVs. A lot of them now are lower, not dead center on the back of the TV. And then the biggest challenge right now is thinness. As these TVs get thinner and thinner, they have a better chance of being broken not only during shipping, but during use. So we really want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make sure that the TVs fit on the mount and that the mount moves smooth enough to allow these thin TVs to last for years and years in a consumer's house. So next slide. This is a little bit of consumer research. We do a lot of research not only with dealers, but also with the consumer to make sure that we're doing the right things in changing our products. And as I go through this, you'll see more about the changes that we're making. But overall, you can see that our average has gone up almost a full point in our responses. And then on the right side, you can kind of see what is the most important attributes to a mount by the consumer. So, construction materials, holding the TV in place, overall look, fit, and finish. The one thing that they seem to care the least about, that we know you guys care the most about, is installation time. And we have a couple of new features in some of our mounts that will make that installation time faster for you, which of course time is money. So moving forward. Other trend out there is that not all TVs are getting mounted. When we look across our entire sales, we see about 75% of those TVs actually still going on stands or other applications than mounting. In the installer world, that's 100% switched. But out there, there's still a lot of TVs, and we want to make sure that we talk about some of these situations at the very end as well. What we are seeing in TV manufacturers is they're taking every possible penny out of the stand that they can. So we're seeing, as the center picture shows, just basic crow's feet, as we call them, on TVs now. They don't even have a center support. So a lot of the TVs don't fit on existing furniture. Move on to the next slide. So understanding Sanus design and model numbers, this is probably a fairly big thing out there for a lot of people because it does seem kind of confusing. And we'll break that down in the next couple of slides. First, we strongly believe a mount is not a widget. There's a lot of companies out there that just go to China and look for any mount that fits this size range TV. And they buy it and they repackage it and they sell it out in the marketplace. We really look at these 4 points as how we can make a total commitment to the installer and then on to the end user when we make a product. Every one of our products is UL rated, and that is an important safety aspect. And you can see that number one, our safety is our number one concern. Other things that are out here is number 3, which is the main reason we're on this webinar today, is to talk about TV size, weight, mounting holes, and products that work for that. And then number 4 says room requirements, but it's kind of also should have some other applications in it of how the mount is used in the consumer's house. So we'll be talking more about this as we move forward as well. Next slide, please. So nothing worse than having somebody read a PowerPoint to you. So I'll give you a couple seconds to look at this. But the big one on this is the point number 2, smooth and stable. We are really going to be focusing over the next years of making sure every mount that we build, whether it's full motion or tilting, is the smoothest mount on the market. And that ties back to that thinness that we talked about in TV. The other thing is that we're going to be reducing the number of mounts we have out there by making our mounts cover wider ranges, heavier weight capacities. And so we're trying to make it a lot easier for everyone to sell the mounts through the entire chain as well. Next slide. Color coding. Color coding is fairly important. Most people think it's only for the retail space, but it's actually for warehousing in the dealer's warehouse and in the distributor's warehouse. By knowing the color codes of our packaging, it reduces the picking errors at distribution locations and also as the installer leaves the shop to go do an install. So all our full motion mounts will have a green color pattern to them. Tilting will have blue, fixed will have yellow, and then anything specialty or sealing will be purple. Next slide, please. This is a quick chart just to kind of show you guys how we're looking at TVs these days. And, large is the most important category out there. It's everything from 42 to 90 inch, usually 80 pounds to 300 pounds, and visa patterns of 600 millimeters by 400 millimeters. We see a lot of 400 by 400 millimeter. That's kind of more the medium category. But the main thing we want to focus on is being able to hit that 400 by or 600 by 400 hole pattern in the large TVs and be able to cover the 30% or 300 pound weight capacity. When we look at our sales overall, this is the breakdown. You can see that 79% of our sales are in large TV and that 56% of our sales are in tilt mounts. What is interesting here is when you talk to a lot of custom installers, they are focused on that fixed category. And I think they're leaving dollars on the table, and they're also not providing the maximum usage of that TV. They can also make it a little bit harder for themselves to be able to wire that TV and to be able to service that TV down the road. So when looking at this, make sure you don't undersell your customer. Next slide. couple of things that are out there. I think anyone that's ever installed a TV knows that as you're getting to that last stage and you're just ready to let go of the TV, there's still that little question in the back of your mind, is the TV on the mount? And when I let go of it, is it going to stay on the mount? And one of the things that we do in all our brackets is make sure that there's an audible click when the TV is engaged into the mount, and that relieves that fear of the TV falling off the bracket. We also spend extra money in our hardware kits to make sure that we have hardened lag bolts, and that should also eliminate the fear of having the actual TV and or bracket fall off the wall. So these two things tie back into our safety concerns and also should make people feel better about their installs. One other quick note on lags, please use a socket wrench when putting the lags in. If you use a drill, you can superheat that lag bolt as you're driving it into the stud, and you can also snap the head off the stud at times, which just really causes major grief in installation and also in safety. Looking at our model numbers, I think they are fairly easy to understand once somebody explains them to you, but up until that point, it gets pretty confusing. So what I did here is just break out a quick nomenclature and show you guys how the model numbers are broken out. Give you a second to look at that. I'm not going to read this to you. There's no sense in it. Keep moving. So as far as the actual Sanus product updates, we'll be looking at the mounts now. The first new mount is the VLF 628. So this is a large full motion that has 28 inches of extension. And everything about this mount versus the past mounts, which were like a VLF 525 or maybe an LF 228, has been improved. We have more extension, we have more stability in the arms, we have more space in the wall plate, we have easier TV interface, we have that click connect that makes sure that you understand that the TV is connected to the mount. Overall, 100% improvement over past products. Let's go to the next slide. And here you can see each and every bullet point kind of outlined. Big ones that I'd like to point out, we came down in price. That makes the value to the end user better. And we've also increased the size range and the weight capacity of the mount. So this really should be the one full motion mount that you can go to day in, day out, and cover all your large TV needs. Moving on to the next is a new medium mount. So the VM, the M in that is for medium and full motion. This pulls off 20 inches off the wall, a real solid upgrade from the VLF or VMF 518 in the past. In the aspect that this is a dual stud mount. So it gives you the ability to have the TV exactly placed where the customer wants it on the wall. Better interface, better arm construction, better roll control. Just again, every possible attribute to this mount is better than what we've been doing in the past with the VMF 518. And that's all kind of compared up on the next slide. And keep moving on. The next mount is a VXT7. So the X is extra large. And this is where we finally have replaced one of the oldest mounts in the Sanus lineup. There is a product called a VMPL3 out there that has been in the product line since 2007. That is an outstanding mount, but it missed almost all the major features that make mounting TVs easy. So we've added ProSet to this product, and ProSet is the ability to level or de-level the TV once it's on the wall. We've upgraded the weight capacity to 300 pounds, so even the biggest TVs out there, this mount can handle. And then we've changed the size range from 40 inch to 110 inch. So future compatibility is across the board on this product solid. And then the last thing we've done is really updated the hardware kit inside this. So There are more bolts, more spacers, allow for 100% compatibility with those large TVs. Moving forward, kind of a quick comparison between the VMPL3 and the VXT7. One of the first things you'll notice is almost a $50 price reduction, and that is about a $30 dealer cost reduction. So not only did we bring the retail down, but we brought the margin up on the product. It's closer to the wall, handles more capacity. Everything about this mount is better than what we had in the past. This product here is not new, but it really deserves a future or a further look from anybody that's installing TV mounts. So the model number is a little different than the past models that we've been looking at. You can see that I put a red D in the model number up at the top, and that D stands for distribution. And the advantage of that is that this mount is only sold through distribution. And that means that there's less channel conflict and less chance of you being price shopped out in the field or on the internet or anything else. It's only sold through distribution. The other big advantage of this mount is you can kind of see it in the center left, is that it extends off the wall. So an advanced tilt mount not only tilts, but also pulls off the wall. And the reason it pulls off the wall is for two reasons. Number one is if you're doing a really big TV, you can actually tilt that TV without the bottom of the TV hitting the wall. And also during installation, you can pull the TV out from the wall and have 5.7 inches of room back there to hook up your cables, check everything, hide components behind the TV, whatever is necessary to make that installation as quick as possible. Here is a quick comparison to the old product of the VLT5. Some installers are still using the VMPL50. This product is about $8 to $9 more than the other two products, but the installation time is well worth the change in cost. And the retail's a little bit higher at $129, which puts more margin dollars in your pocket. And I would strongly, strongly encourage you to use this mount for all your tilting mounts in the future. Hop to the next slide. The other thing we noticed as time is pushing all of us to be home more often than what we'd like is that streaming and streaming and streaming is what everyone's talking about. Sanus makes a little streaming panel that connects to the back of the TV mount and allow you to mount Apple TVs, Roku devices, Balens, whatever you want behind the TV. And this just gives you an opportunity to clean up the install, have those components secure in place so that they don't run into being pulled on, tugged on, and cause service calls because the cables have became disconnected. It's a great little product. I'd strongly encourage you to use this on all your projects as well. So just a quick overview. Tom talked a little bit about distribution strategy, and I'd like to talk about that a little bit as well. So Sanus for the last 4 years has been reducing the number of distributors in the marketplace in general. And the reason we've been doing that is so that we can support the distributors that are supporting us in a better fashion. I think you'll see more and more support from Legrand at ADI and also directly to purchasers from ADI. And we're also driving people away from the internet as much as possible and supporting everyone with MAP policies and limiting third-party interactions. The last thing that we're really working on is making sure that our core product strategy provides best-in-class products through distribution. Distribution in the past has been kind of a little bit challenged, but we are absolutely committed to making sure that the core products that our distributors have are the best of class and easiest to understand. Next slide. So this is the old Sanus premium profile, and there was 24 SKUs in this, and man, it was just absolutely confusing, even for somebody like me when somebody would say, what mount should I use? it would take you 10 minutes to explain each and everything on this chart. And so as we move forward, next slide, please, we are eliminating every mount that has a red X on it. And the reason we're doing this is because there's just way too much overlap. Product isn't performing as well as the new products that we're introducing. And it's just cleaning up the chart, next slide, please, to be much more understandable. So as I talked about the 628 in the upper left-hand corner, it should be the #1 full motion mount. If you need a thin, close to the wall application, then you could use the 613. But those are the only 2 full motion mounts in the large category that you should even be concerned with. The #1 tilting mount you should be looking at is the VDLT16, dead center under tilting plus. And then also anything that doesn't fit on it, or you have a really heavy TV, you should look at the VXT7. Medium category, there's 3 mounts. Small category, 2 mounts. Super simple, easy for people to understand, and there's an upsell value in every portion of this system. Moving on. So Sanus does have more than mounts. Keep cruising. We talked a little bit about how many TVs get mounted and how many don't get mounted. And a lot of TVs also get repurposed into other rooms. And in that repurposing to other rooms, sometimes the original stand has been lost or just flat out thrown away. So we offer 2 different TV swivels. We have this one at $149 that goes up to 65-inch TVs. Next slide. We also have a more entry-level product that is $109 at retail, and will go up to 60-inch TVs. So either one of these can address some of those crowfoot issues or just TVs that don't swivel anymore. Keep moving. The other important thing out there that we've talked a little bit about is wireless speakers. And some of the new products that ADI has put into their locations under the core category are some of our Sonos accessories. And so we'll talk real briefly about those. And then, so the first one, this is the new core product, so it'll be in every branch, is just a basic speaker stand that works with Sonos One, Play One, and Play 3 products. And you can also use them in portrait or landscape. So we all know that margin is everything out there and what keeps our business going. All our speaker stands should be about 50 points of margin to you, and it's a great way of accessorizing Sonos products. Next slide. If you want to take that a little bit further, we have adjustable height speaker stands. And the idea behind an adjustable height is that you can get the speaker actually aligned with the ear of the person listening to it so that it has its best performance. Also, a speaker stand increases the bass capacity of a speaker. So the new adjustable heights also work with the One, Play One, and Play 3. One SKU does it all. Next slide. We have a dedicated mount that is for the beam, and it can be used with full motion or tilting mounts. When used with a full motion mount, it gives you the ability to move the sound along with the picture into a different seating environment in the room. This is a $59 retail item. It's not expensive, and it really does enhance the overall application of the beam into home theaters or into just single listening spaces. Next. We also make a little mount for the Sonos amp. And what's nice about this is it does have a little lock so that the amp can't accidentally be knocked off a wall or off a rack or outside of a component. And then at the very bottom, we have little foam slots that secure the cables in place. So even if the amp is in a cabinet and somebody's wrestling around with it, it's very unlikely that any of the cables connected to that amp will come undone and then cause a service call. And I think we got 2 more slides. So basically for every Sonos product, we have a Sonos accessory that will allow you guys to have a little bit more margin in your sales. And click again. These are only authorized through distributors that sell Sonos. And this is an important part too, as we talked a little bit about making sure that we're supporting the distributors that support us best and being able to pass that support on to the dealer base. So any of the other distributors out there that aren't Sonos authorized will not be able to provide the Sonos accessories. I think that's the last slide I had. Any questions?
Any questions in there, Jared? We're running a little over. I want to give away our prizes here.
Yeah, I'm looking here real quickly. Let's see what I get. Can you speak? Let's see if I can pull this up here. Can you speak to? Let's see if it'll let me expand this out. Can you speak to install options available to recessed tilt mounts to minimize 3-inch space between the wall and the TV?
So we don't have a recessed tilt mount. Through Chief, there is recessed full motion mounts that you could take and move the TV right up against the wall. But at this point, Sanus does not have a recessed box that we can put a tilt mount in.
And then the last question is, any idea when ADI may have stock in Canada?
I can't answer that. That will have to be Keith or Sean that takes that one.
That may be a question for another discussion.
I really do appreciate everyone's time.
Whoever asked that Canada question, which location, if they could just type that in? Or we'll get it offline.
It's Ottawa.
Ottawa? Okay. I'll make note of that. I'll get a hold of Jason and see that. All right, I'm going to give away some prizes. I have a list of people here. The good news for those that are still here is that some people dropped off. So if you're not on, you can't win. So I'm going to generate the giveaway, and we have your email address here, so I'll email you where it needs to go. But we're going to give away first the receiver transceiver Nuvo kit, and that goes to Greg Kalinsky. So Greg, thank you. The next one is the P400 speaker, tabletop speaker. Let me generate it here. And that goes to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Victor Palma. All right, now we're on to the Sanus side of things. So this will be the SAS-B1, which is a universal soundbar mount. I don't know that Will showed that in the presentation, but a really neat product to mount and move with a soundbar, universal soundbar mount. So this goes to Jeff Flaro. So thank you, Jeff. And then the last one is, we had a little debate about this, but the that VLF 628 TV mount is just a terrific articulating TV mount that Will talked about there, and a little pricey, but we're going to give one of those away as the grand prize. And the winner of that is Joseph Sidorowitz. Joseph, thank you. So I want to thank everybody. My email is keith.ebert@legrand.com if I can be of any assistance, but I'll email you all directly for where we need to send this to. And thank you for supporting Legrand AV and ADI.
Congrats, everybody, all the dealers who won some prizes. Keith, were you going to mention the promo code in your slides?
Oh, you know, I forgot all about that. So do you want to mention it?
Yeah, so the promotion is going to be starting today and running until next Friday, 10% off an order of either Sanus or Nuvo product. And it's US only. However, for the, I think there's a few folks on from Canada, just reach out to us separately if you want to take advantage of that promo between now and next Friday, and we'll work with you on that. It was originally supposed to be announced for just US only, but we'll work with you on that if you want to place an order for 10% off on either one of these two brands by next Friday. So You can reach out to me directly, and I can get it coordinated for you if you'd like. And it's sean.dixon@adiglobal.com. So
And you've got those codes set up in your system, right, Sean?
yes, yeah, I wasn't sure if you had them in your slides or not. So let me actually copy and paste those before everybody jumps off into the chat box. So if you guys are placing an order over the course of the next week, at least in the US, just be sure to mention these promo codes. So bear with me just a second here. Or Gio or Gina, if you're on the line, I don't know if you have those oh, never mind, I just found them. Getting ready to post it in now, or paste it in. I'm not sure if this will go to all attendees or not. Hopefully.
We can certainly email it, right, Sean? We have the email addresses here.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have the email addresses, that's the promo codes. So just need to mention that when you're placing your order, and it'll be good for 10% off through next Friday on either Nuvo or Sanus.
Hey, Keith,
Very good.
a couple of questions here regarding if they can get a copy of the slide presentations. So that may be something you want to address or reach out to people and see if they want them.
Yeah, we'll have to, there's two different presentations, so we'll kind of have to pull that together. But yes, we'll come up with something.
Okay.
But we'll email everybody with some backup information and go from there forward.
All right, thanks everybody for being on the call. Legrand, thanks for hosting the call for us. And everybody enjoy the weekend ahead of us.
Thanks much, everybody.
Thanks a lot.
So long.
Okay.
Thanks.